This section is powers and roots of decimal numbers. Suppose you were asked to calculate zero point 0.3 squared. Well, that equals to 0.3 times 0.3. And 3 times 3 is 9. Now, you can write it this way. 3 times 3 is 9. The thing is, this goes in one decimal place. But that's the same number. So it's going to go in 2 times however many this goes in. So we have to have the decimal in 2 places. So we get 0.09. If you had 0.07 and you want to square it, well, that's 0.07 times 0.07. 7 times 7 is 49. The thing is, you're going to have to move it in not 2 places, but 2 times 2 places, because both numbers are the same. So we need to write 49, but move the decimal in 4 places. 1, 2, 3, 4. If any of those loops do not have a digit, you put a 0 in the loop. And there's your answer. So let's look at another one. What if you have 0.006 and you want to square this? Well, we know that 6 squared is, or 6 times 6 is 36. The question is, how many places do I need to move in? Well, since the decimal is in 3 places, and I'm multiplying that number by itself 2 times, is going to be 3 places, and then another 3 places. If I multiply them, it's going to be 3 places and 3 places, a total of 6 places. So the decimal goes there. Why? Because if it was here, I would have moved it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places. So there's the answer. Decimal point, 4 zeros, and then 3 6. Well, what if I wanted to do, say, 0.02 to the 5th power? Well, I know 2 to the 5th is 32. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 times 4 is 16, times 2 is 32. Now the thing is, I multiply the first 2, and my answer is going to be 4, but 4 decimal places, 4 DPs. And then I multiply that answer by 0.02. Remember, this is 4 decimal places, and this is 2 decimal places for a total of 6. So now I'm going to have 8. 4 times 2 is 8, but it's going to be 6 decimal places. And then I do it again. I multiply the 8 by 0.02, and I'm going to get 16, but it's going to be 6 decimal places plus 2 more. It's going to be 8 decimal places, and then I multiply their 16 by 2. The 16 is 8 decimal places times the 2, which is 2 decimal places, and I'm going to get 32, but it's going to be 10 decimal places. Can I get the 10 decimal places a bit sooner? The answer is yes. This is 2 decimal places. Okay, and then I'm going to multiply that by 5. I'm going to multiply a 2 decimal number by itself 5 times, or even 5 different 2 decimal place numbers. And 2 times 5 is 10. It's gonna, so this is a 2 decimal place number, and then I multiply it by 5 decimal places to get 10 decimal places. So I'm gonna have to add 8 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because 8 plus 2 is 10. So that's the answer. Let us look at that in a couple of other examples. Suppose you were asked to do 0.03 to the, well, let's have an extra 0. 0.03 to the 4th power. Well, 3 to the 4th power is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, which is 9 times 9, which is 81. So the answer is going to be 81 with probably some zeros in front of it. This number is a 3 decimal place number, but then you multiply it by 4, because you're multiplying a 3 decimal number by itself 4 times. You're going to have 0.003 times 0.003 times 0.003 times 0.003. And when you multiply the 3's, you're going to get 81. But then this number is in 3 decimal places. This number is in 3 decimal places. So is that one. So is that one. So we're going to move in 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. Ooh, that's 3 times 4 places. We're going to move in 12 decimal places. This is 12 decimal places. Okay, since 81 is 2 digits, I'm going to have 10 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 11, 12. That's a 12 decimal place number. And I didn't use a calculator. You don't need a calculator to do 9 times 9. Okay, and it's 3 decimal places times 4 is going to be 4 decimal places. I mean, even if you did use a calculator, it's not going to be easy to count those number of zeros. It's not going to be easy. But I know that if these are 2 digits and I want 12 decimal places, to put 10 to the left. And I don't have to see the 10, just have to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 8, 1. Okay, I don't even have to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 decimal places. Okay, let us do another problem. We should know that 5 to the 4 is 625. So what would 0.005 to the 4th be? Well, this is 3 decimal places, and we're multiplying it by 4. We're going to get a 12 decimal place number. Well, 625 used up 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 decimal. Next problem. Okay. It turns out that 4 to the 3 is 64. So what would 0.0004 to the 3 be? Well, this is a 4 decimal place number, and I'm multiplying it by itself 3 times. So I'm going to get a 12 decimal place number. And 4 cubed is 64. But it has to be 12 digits long. That's 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 decimal place. 12 squared is 144. So how much is 0.012 squared? Well, this is 3 decimal places. times the 2. So our answer is going to be 6 decimal places. And it's going to end in 144. Well, that's 3 digits. 4, 5, 6. Now I have a 6 decimal place number. I want it to be this easy for you guys. It's not hard at all. Just understand it. 15 squared is 225. So what is 1.5 all squared? Well, this is a 1 decimal place number. I'm multiplying that 1 decimal place number by 2. So I'm going to get 3 decimal places. So I get 225. Oh, that already is 3 decimal places. There's my answer. Hardly any difficulty. If somebody asks you what 1.25 squared is, well, square 125. Even if you have to do it by hand, you'll get 1.5 or 625. I want to see something, please. Okay. So this is 2 decimal place number, and we're multiplying it by itself 2 times, so we should end up with a 4 decimal place number. Just like if you actually did this, you would go in 2 places and then 2 places again, and you would say it's a 4 decimal place number. Okay. Now I know it's 15625, and I have to go in 4 places. 1, 2, 3, 4. This time it was even more than 1. Well, of course it's more than 1. 1.25 is less than 1, and it's bigger than 1 and less than 2. Well, if I square everything, the order still changes, stays the same. 1 squared is still less than 1.25 squared, and 1.25 squared is less than 4, which is 2 squared. So this number is between 1 and 4. Yeah, that's between 1 and 4. Okay. Well, it turns out that 6 cubed is 216. Now, if you were asked to calculate this number by hand, you should really do 6 times 6 is 36, times another 6 is 36, 18 and 3, 216. Okay, so now you have this. This here is a 4 decimal place number. I'm multiplying it by itself 3 times. So the answer will have 12 decimal places. And I know at the end is going to be, let me use a little bit more space. At the end is going to be 216, which is 3 decimal places. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's your answer. Point all those zeros, 216. Okay, if this is 3 numbers, then there's going to be 9 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's a lot easier than taking this number, multiplying it by itself, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then multiplying it by itself again. You get 216. This number is in 2, 4, 6 places. 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 3. Sorry, this is 4 plus 4. It goes in 8. I have 2 more zeros. So this decimal is in 2, 4, 6, 8. And this one is in 1, 2, 3, 4. 8 and 4 is 12. So I go in 12 places. Already have 3, so 9 more. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we have the same answer that we got up here. But I did it much quicker. I just did 6 times 6 is 36, times another 6 is 216, and then I played this decimal game and I said, oh, it has to be 12 decimals. This is 3, I add 9 more. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 decimal. There's the answer. Okay. Now, let's talk about square roots. The square root of 16 is 4. So, what is the square root of 0.0014? Now, whatever it is, whatever this equals, call it x. X times x must be 4 decimal places, because I'm supposed to get back 0.0016. I'm going to change that 4 to a 6 now. Whatever it equals, it has to be 2 decimal places, because when I multiply x by itself and I add 2 plus 2, I'll get 4 decimal places just like that number. Okay, basically what you can do is, there's a 2 here, you take the 4 decimal places and you divide by 2, and your answer will be 2 decimal places. Your answer will be 2 decimal places. And your answers, up to putting some zeros in, is 4. Since it has to be 2 decimal places, the answer is 0.04. Okay, think about this. It's not the worst. The square root of 25 is 5. Okay, so what is the square root of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? The square root of that number. Now, this number is a 10 decimal place number. So whatever it equals, it has to be 5 decimal places. Why? Because whatever this equals, if I multiply it by itself, it's going to equal that. Just like the square root of 25 is 5, I multiply that number by itself and I'll get back 25. Another way of doing it is take the 10 decimal place number, divide it by 2, and your answer is going to be 5 decimal places. But the answer is supposed to be like 5. So I add 4 zeros. It is now a 5 decimal place number, and that's the answer. The square root of 36, you should know is 6. So, what is the square root of 0.123436? Well, this here is our 6 decimal place number. I divide it by 2, and my answer is going to be 3 decimal places. But it has to have a 6 at the end. So, there it is. And all I really did was know the square root of 36 or 6, and this had 6 decimal places, so my answer will only have half as many, 3 decimal places. It turns out that the square root of 225 is 15. So the question is, what is the square root of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 225? Now, if this were my problem, the first thing I would do is try to find out what the square root of 225 is. Well, 25 goes into that number 9 times. This is 5 times 5. This is 3 times 3. So this is 5 squared times 3 squared. Oh, that's 15 squared. 5 times 3 is 15. Square it. So the square root of 225 is 15. Okay, so in case you just don't know this, you have to figure it out. Then you say, well, let's see. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 decimal place number. And since it's the second root, I divide by 2. The answer has to be 4 decimal places. And I know it has to have 15 at the end, which is 2 digits. So I add 2 more zeros, and there it is. This is my 4 decimal place number, and fit the end number, 15 squared, is 225. Now this technique doesn't always work, but let's do one more. Suppose that you come to know that the square root of 169 is 13. So what is the square root of decimal point 0169? Very simple. 169, 169. This is a 4 decimal place number. I divide it by 2 to find out what one of the numbers will be. Remember, whatever number I put here, when I multiply it by itself, is gonna equal to that number. So if I want a 4 decimal place answer, I want to let this be 2 decimal places, because that will also be 2 decimal places. Okay, now I know it's going to involve 13, and 13, 2 decimals is right there. That finishes that problem. Now we're going to consider a problem where this technique that I've been using does not work. Suppose we have, well, first, the square root of 225 is 15. Okay? Now, what if you were asked to find the square root of 0.25? Now, the problem is that this is a 3 decimal place number. And when you divide it by 2, you're going to have a 1.5 decimal place number. I know what a 1 decimal place number is. I know what a 2 decimal place number is. Know what a 17 decimal place number is. I have no idea what a 1.5 decimal place number is. And basically, if I take a 1 decimal place number and I multiply it by itself, 1 decimal place plus 1 decimal place is going to be 2 decimal places, which is not 3. Okay. Now, if I take a 2 decimal place number and I multiply it by itself, it will give me, because 2 plus 2 is 4, it's going to give me a 4 decimal place number. Now, you have every right to say, well, 0.225 is equal to 0.2250, which is a 2 decimal place number. And I will give you that. The problem is that 15 times 15 is not 2250. It's not that. Okay, so this is not going to equal to, say, 0.15, because I know why. 0.1 times 0.15 times 0.15. Well, 15 times 15 is 225, and then I have to move in 4 decimal places. This number and this number, they're not the same. That's why it's not equal to 0.15. Does this mean that you can't compute the square root of 0.225 or approximate it really well? Not at all. And for example, 0.4 times 0.4 is 0.16. That's a little bit below 0.225. And 0.5 times 0.5 is 0.25. That's bigger. So, and this is the same as 0.40 times 0.40 and 0.50 times 0.50. So maybe we'll try something in the middle, because 220.225 happens to be in the middle of these two numbers. Well, 0.45 times 0.45, that's 2025. 0.2025. Well, that's a little bit too little, smaller than that number, and this is a little bit too big. So I know it's in between 0.45 and 0.50. So maybe we'll try 0.47. We can narrow in on it. You get 49, 32, and then 28, 16 and 2 are 18, 9, 10, 12, 22. Well, and move in 4 places. Well, this is a little bit closer to 0.225 or 0.2250. So, you know, you can try 0.48, 0.48. See what that gives you. Actually, let's do it. 384, I think. 384 and 192. You get 4, 10, 13, 23. Well, this is too big. So it's in between these two numbers. So maybe you can try 475. And you can get closer and closer to this. But it definitely is not 0.15, it's not 0.015, it's not 1.5. It's not, this trick is not going to work. Now, having said that, if I had 0.0225, then this number at the end is 225. Notice over here, please, it was not 225. It was 2250. That's a big difference. Now, I know that the square root of 225 is 15. Since this is 4 decimal places, I'm going to write 15 with 2 decimal places. And that is the correct answer. Let us try one more. One that will work. Using the scheme I've been talking about. The square root of 25 is 5. So what is the square root of decimal point 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros and 25? Now, here it works out nice. We have 6 decimal places. We divide it by 2 and we get an integer, not a fraction. So our decimal number is going to have 3 numbers and it has to end in 5. So there it is. And again, we can check this. 5 times 5 is 25, 2, 0, 0, 0, 0. You can put in all the zeros you want. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 2, 5. The bottom line is you have to move in 3 places plus 3 places, 6 places. Now, even if you didn't write any of the zeros, you're gonna have 25. And then you're gonna have to go, that's 2 places, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're gonna have to put in these zeros. Even if you had those zeros, you're gonna have to put one more in at the end. Okay, and most importantly, this number is what was under the square root sign. This finishes this section on powers and roots of decimal numbers.